I want to tell you the story of the Korihor Sigil, or the Koaz. Now, we're a church for godless people, so it's probably no surprise that this story, it's kind of geeky. In April 1970, Apollo 13 was on the third mission to land on the moon. An oxygen tank in their service module exploded, leaving astronauts Jim Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Hayes in a desperate fight to get home alive. But on their way back toward Earth, they discovered that they were coming in too shallow and too fast. They figured that they could manually fire the lunar module's engine, but they would only have 14 seconds of fuel. Now, if you're going to be stuck in outer space without a guidance computer, the guy you want with you is Jim Lovell. Jim Lovell was the first man in space to navigate to the moon and back, at least partly, with only the stars to go by. But Apollo 13 had a problem that Apollo 8 did not. Debris from the explosion obscured Lovell's view so that he couldn't see the stars through the sextant. That's when Jim Lovell came up with a pretty innovative idea: the Crewman Optical Alignment Sight, or COAS, designed to align the two parts of the spacecraft while they were docking. Now, Lovell fixed that bullseye instead on the only fixed point in space that he could see through the lunar module window: Earth. They chose the Earth's terminator line, the line between the day and night sides of the Earth, as the reference point, with Jim controlling the yaw and the burn, and Fred manning the pitch, and Jack timing the burn on his watch. They fired the engines and corrected that angle in 14 seconds. You and I are living in an emergency. We can't see the stars, and our guidance computer isn't working. We have to line up the real world in the COAS if we're going to make a world that we want to live in. And to do that, you need godless people. This is our time. Instead of a religion about God, we need a religion about us. We are our saviors. This is our time.
By math and science, our path is clear. Strangers once our re-entry nears. Sighting land, we'll quit this sea. I'm going home, who will come with me?
That's the hottest guy I've ever seen. What's up, you horse? It's Wednesday service. Where are you? 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on an average Wednesday. Hello, Hyde. You horse, get your ass to church. Let us sermonize. I want to tell you guys today about myself. Those of you who didn't notice, I have ADHD. And if you don't know that I have ADHD, welcome. I'm Eskimo Joe. Used to be a Mormon. Always been autistic. A little bit. Always been a little bit autistic. Bordering on an insane amount of autistic. Some would even say greedy. Now, if you have ADHD like me, you might have seen something like this before. Da, 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 did not get that prepared for this. Boom. Boom. Okay. You ever seen this ad? Hypersexuality is not infidelity. It's an ADHD response. Every time I see this, I say that with like some kind of French accent. What's that? ADHD response. You see, ADHD isn't just being lazy or unfocused. Once you learn the diagnosis and start managing it using behavioral psychology, the symptoms disappear almost instantly, and you almost forget how to waste time ever again. It works by discovering your ADHD type and then letting the changes unfold naturally. It's amazing how easy it is. And then you see this? What the hell even is this? What the hell even is this? Doesn't matter. You click on the ad and it takes you to a whole hell of a lot of nowhere. You go to an ad. You click on the ad because you're mainly curious because, well, you have ADHD and you look at the erotica. It's a thing. People do it. Everything about this ad, the thing about it is that everything about this ad is based in actual science. So if you are a person like me who respects science and has ADHD, you go, finally, somebody talking about the real thing here, which is that people do all kinds of things to stim when they have something that may or may not be on the autism spectrum. We don't know yet. The science is still evolving on this, okay? But so many people, like churches particularly, God churches I'm talking about, Church of Korihor has no problems. God churches make huge bunches of money off of shaming people for stimming behaviors, whether that's medications that they may take or take recreationally, whether it is recreational medications they may take, whether it is, things that they do with their little factories. There are things people do to stimulate their nervous system in some way other than this psychotic, chaotic mess that is the world that the humans are trying to sell us. How are we, my friends? Yeah. Joey's cool. Don't gang up on him. He's making a good point there. So this is the point, okay? So you see it and you think, finally, something that's legit. It takes you to a quiz. You take that quiz, and then lo and behold, the quiz tells you have ADHD. And it's got this cutesy little hipster design to it, and you go, see, somebody who knows what they're doing has invested the resources into this app and definitely recognizes me, right? Well, this is what happens. You actually wind up at an app called Wisey. It's one of many different apps out there targeting ADHD people to rob you blind. Okay. These apps like Wisey, Numo, The Liven, sometimes called Livin or Liven, they often claim that they are made by people with ADHD for people with ADHD. But behind the quirky cartoons and often unexpected charges. Yeah. Useless generic advice. Oh, yeah. And customer service that is hard to get a hold of if it exists and doesn't care about your experience and that you have had to fight with it to get the charges to stop, much less to get a refund. All over Reddit, the Better Business Bureau, and on review sites like Trustpilot, you'll find stories like this. They claim to provide, this is a user of Wisey, they claim to provide a personalized plan for ADHD, but it is the same information for everyone. They refused to refund me $74 Canadian for a service I did not want. This user eventually did get a refund after disputing the charge through their credit card company. The same person says you have to email them to cancel the subscription. Anyone who knows anything about people with ADHD knows that this extra step can be a big hurdle. Now you're starting to see why this pisses me off. It's like making a person with diabetes eat. You have low battery. I may lose my headphones here in a minute. It doesn't really matter because I'm not listening to any of you anyway. All right, so it's like making a person with diabetes eat a slice of cake if they don't want to charge for simply being diabetic. A reviewer of the Liven, also called Liven or Livin, who cares how it's pronounced? It's just a scam. This is the biggest scam as they overcharged even after it is canceled. This has happened to me twice now. Read more than 50 Trustpilot reviews and you'll see that Liven has a bad habit of charging again after cancellation. In another case, a person paid for a 3-month plan and then later got a notice of $99.99 US charge that they never expected. Another user on Reddit said, I just received a scam alert notification from my bank that an unrecognized payment of £99.99 was attempted on my account. It turned out to be Liven. Luckily, their bank blocked it, but others weren't so lucky. Another user said, I was billed after taking the survey, but never received a confirmation. Then I was billed again 3 months later for $99.99 US. On a Facebook group, someone similarly warned that Liven will, quote, sign up for like $25, then get charged for $99 a couple months later without a warning. Numo offers a free trial, but some say isn't free at all. One user wrote a review saying, don't ever download. It is a scam and trap from the second you have downloaded the app. It offers a fake free trial without you being able to unsubscribe. I can't find any places to unsubscribe, and writing to them, they give no response. Another user on Reddit said, I just got charged $90 for ADHD Numo, and I have no clue why or what to do. Wisey, the Liven, and Numo are not alone. Users have raised red flags about MellowFlow, Today is the Day, and Virtue Map. I'm ashamed I was naive enough to buy into this scam, says one person. Whoever made it, their expertise is in advertising, not self-development. Don't waste your time. Precisely. People issue chargebacks, threaten to sue, which will get you nowhere, and report to government agencies. It's a big nightmare just to cancel, let alone get your money back or your time worse. So who exactly is behind these quirky ADHD apps, and how are they allowed to do this? Well, it turns out that these operations are almost exclusively based in Cyprus, Estonia, and Lithuania. Wisey's app and website are operated by a company called Growth Mind Labs Limited, which provides a contact address in Las Vegas, USA. But they're actually headquartered in Cyprus. The Liven, sometimes just called Liven, also lists its business address in Cyprus. These places are overseas and possibly chosen because it's harder for unhappy customers or authorities in the United States and other major markets to reach them. One exception was an app company set up in Delaware, but even that one had very poor ratings with the BBB and problems reported. Now, the individuals in charge, maybe, are behind the companies. They don't advertise their identities usually on the scammy apps. You can find out who has bought these companies oftentimes, but down the road. But the people actually running them, nobody really knows. Wisey's founder was reportedly an entrepreneur named Bilal Abidi, according to a business info site. Though people, this is the thing about ADHD people and Audi neurospicy people, you piss us off, we're going to rabbit hole out the where you are. And it turns out this guy, Bilal Abidi, he probably doesn't exist. By all appearances, he's just fake. This is a company that's had a fake CEO, and they just kind of swept him onto the rug. The Liven app is run by a company called Ask Glory Digital Corp, but little is known about the individuals involved. This lack of transparency, yet another red flag. To make matters worse, these companies often flood review sites with fake positive reviews to drown out the complaints. The Wisey app's Trustpilot page was filled with dozens of new 5-star reviews that sounded oddly similar, so probably bots. Let me show you. Didn't I just have one? Oh yeah, here we go. Boom, boom. Okay, let me just show you this. The post that we're talking about here is here on Reddit. Hopefully you guys can see this. We had problems with this before. So this is a Reddit on ADHD. Warning. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get this. Let's see if I can blow this up here. Hopefully I don't break things here. Don't break things, Joe. Hopefully, does that make things easier to read? Okay. They have a 1.9 out of 5 on Trustpilot, says this user from 10 months ago. All right, check this out. Whoops. Okay, so here's Wisey's app right now. This is 10 months later, 3.8. Okay. Now you come down here, you'll see interesting. Here's a review from a person named Kim Martin. Literally just purchased it and getting started. Haven't even made it through the first 2 videos. Yet the first one was useful, but now I'm distracted by a survey. If you want an honest review, at least let me open it and figure out how to use it before you ask my opinion. I am looking forward to it. And then they get a reply from YZ, almost certainly generated by artificial intelligence. But then 4 days ago, Christine D gives this review: customer support. They provided great and swift assistance. My billing email inquiry was promptly responded to and resolved to my much needed satisfaction. Thank you. Come on. The point is, this is just an hour ago. 4-star. Customer service was outstanding. That's it. Basically, they've been caught. They've been caught out again and again and again. The Google App Store, the Play Store, doesn't even carry this app anymore. It hasn't for a long time. I think in fact on Apple they won't carry it either. So basically, in order to get it, you have to respond to an ad, and then it takes you to a website where everything looks very professional, looks very, top notch, and turns out it's all just a great big scam. And then they just shut the thing down if they ever get caught out for actually basically breaking the law. I can't say that for sure. Allegedly. I'm not an attorney. To make matters worse, these companies often flood review sites with fake positive reviews to drown out the complaints. I already said that. So the company will have raked in disgusting amounts of money from non-reviewers before there are enough 1-star reviews to make people wary. And that's only if people are looking at the reviews, which they likely are not, especially if they're on a completely separate website. The companies will also pay influencers, so don't go for that either, even if it sounds reasonable. Look, living with ADHD sucks, even without people weaponizing it against you to steal from you. So only use ADHD products that have been tried by a personal friend whom you trust, or ask around about the pros and cons from people you know. Now, why is that a sermon? As far as I know, we are the first church ever created that has included in its values that we believe in neurodiversity. Whatever ADHD is, or Audi ADHD, or the autism spectrum, etc., whatever it is, it's part of our species evolution, right? It is not going away. It isn't treatable. And technically, you can't even really say that it's an illness. It makes us dysfunctional in this society, but that's only because our society requires us to do stupid things. And in the future, the only way we're going to be able to deal with neurospiciness as a society is either by deciding that being neurospicy is a curse that can be cured with medicine and science, or that it's just a normal part of the human condition that we either have to live with and cope with, or even better, learn to treat it like an X-Men mutation, make it into a superpower, and actually use it like one. Don't just say it is, so that you can, make yourself feel better, make your kid feel better. What if it actually is a superpower? What if hyper-focusing is one of the coolest things about having ADHD? What about, what if being able to see a bigger picture because you're never fully focused until you're hyper-focused is, again, a new way of looking at the world with other responsibilities in a world where artificial intelligence and automation have made most jobs obsolete. That's where we are right now. We're on the precipice of something brand new. But this is, I talked a few weeks ago on our Sunday Godless sermon about how toxic masculinity hurts everyone. But first it hurts boys and men. But because it hurts boys and men hurt everybody. And so that's why it's important that boys and men recognize toxic masculinity. And I only came to that after being yet another one of those men who said, I don't know about toxic masculinity. You all talk about toxic masculinity until you need something reached on the top shelf. I did all that stuff, okay? I did it too. But the fact of the matter is, I was wrong. And as an atheist, I pride myself on the fact that my ideas and my opinions changed with new information. And as I came to listen to women more carefully, as I came to listen to my children more carefully, as I came to listen to my inner child and do inner child work, I came to understand how much harm toxic masculinity had done to me, even if other people had come to rely on my masculinity and the toxicity of my masculinity, and to try and peel apart what does being masculine mean in a world where there is toxic masculinity. And one of the first things that I was able to peel apart was the shame that was beaten into me by the infamous blue to young men only pamphlet that you get when you tell your bishop in the Mormon church a little too much about what you do when you are alone or with a trusted friend. I never had that experience. I didn't have that back then. And to realize it wasn't until I was much older that I was able to ask somebody, because I was active and able to relax enough to be able to talk to women about, did you ever get a pamphlet? Maybe it was pink or peach or something else stereotypical, like our blue pamphlet, like the To Young Men Only pamphlet. I'm going to find Mormon women who had been Mormon girls looking to me to say, a what? Oh yeah, some equivalent of the little factory talk. Boyd K. Packer's little factory talk. What are you talking about? And then you tell them Boyd K. Packer's little factory talk. I always tell it all the way to up to and including the section about the missionary who decks out his companion for coming on to him, and the explanation that if you play with your little factory, if you pull that wicked Mormon boys who learn how to pull the relief valve on their own little factory, get the gay. And they were appalled. In some cases, didn't believe me. Didn't believe it. And no surprise. I remember one time when I was in the singles ward with a friend and did not want to be there. Had been an atheist, couldn't tell anybody for about a year since my mission in Peru. And I got up during the service, during sacrament meeting, because Mormon sacrament meeting, boring as hell. Hey, Jenny. It's our own Jenny Gage, ladies and gentlemen. She's doing amazing work at Life Take Two. You guys should check out her channel. I got up and I left. I'm like, okay, I've had enough of this. And she comes and she tracks me down. And I found myself wandering through this old Mormon church building in Mesa, Arizona. And wandered into this room that I had found that was obviously the young women's room, where the young women held their ministry. And I found this vase. And it was a vase with a long hairline, like a crack. It had obviously been glued back together, a long crack down the front. And a poster board behind it that said, your virtue is like this vase. Once cracked, it can never be uncracked. And I stood in front of it. And this girl, I had fully expected this girl wasn't going to come looking for me. I mean, we were there together, but not together. We were there together because I was interested in her and she was interested in anybody but me. So this was definitely a great date. And so I should have suspected she'd come and find me. I honestly didn't. And she did. She's like, "Where have you been? Where are you?" I'm like, "I got bored with that crap." It really is. If you've ever been to a Mormon singles ward meeting, sacrament meeting, they're the worst. I mean, they're worse than normal ones. They're boring, but they're boring with a heavy dose of, we know you all have been out there having sex. Ugh. And perhaps even more aggravating, I wasn't. But I was instead looking at this vase, and she walks up to me. She says, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Do you see this?" And she goes, "Yeah." Now, here's the thing. This girl's a friend of mine. She's a very person I care very much for. To this day, we are still friends. And she has since left the church. Because, of course, friends of mine are smart. And while I had been on my mission, she'd gotten married. And then when I got home, she got divorced. So I'm standing in a room with a girl with a so-called cracked vase and pointing out this cracked vase demonstration. And she said, "What about it?" And I said, "Can you believe they teach teenage girls this?" She goes, "Yeah, they teach everybody that." I said, "They didn't teach us that." And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, the lit cupcake chewing gum." I didn't say that then because I didn't know those then. I've learned those since then. And she says, "But everybody gets the chastity talk." I said, "Oh, chastity talk, yes, but it's a little factory demonstration talk." And she's like, "The what? Oh, you don't know Boy K. Packer's little factory talk?" I explained it to her, and she just mouth agape, right? See, shame is an effective tool to fleece people for money. And it's the oldest game in the book when it comes to religion. So it does make sense that somebody would figure out sooner or later that you could capitalize on the fact that there are so many of us out here who, because we drink coffee or take medications that are taboo, even though they are prescribed to us for good reason, that people would use it as an opportunity to make us feel seen and make us feel like we have a place in the world. And then next thing we know, they get into your bank account and start taking $100 out of it every 3 months. I just today contacted PayPal. I take medication for my ADHD. I focus on taking care of myself here. I've tried anyways. Prioritizing myself is a really difficult thing. I had a Shopify store I started about 2 years ago, and never got it off the ground. Said, screw it. I'm going to do something else with my time. And I canceled the account. I don't know if you've heard about this, but Shopify, it's next to impossible to cancel a Shopify. It's like canceling a gym membership. And it's $62 rounded up. So it was $61 and some change every month for their basic program, unless you prepay for extended period of time. And $61 starts coming out of your bank account every month. You might not even notice it. I don't watch my bank account that carefully. I probably should. Recently, Molly and I did one of those purges, go through and we're still paying for this. And so I canceled my Shopify account. Then they kept charging me. So I went to the website and, ended up talking to a bot on the website because you can't get a hold of a customer service agent on Shopify. After wrestling with this for about a year, trying to cancel a canceled subscription, it basically says just log into your account and cancel it from in there. But I canceled my account I canceled the whole account. There's no account to log into. I'm like, okay, just put me through to an agent. And it says, sure, I can put you through to an agent, but first log into your account. Can't log into my account. I don't understand, it says. Oh, okay. Do a little Google searching, what I probably should have done before. Turns out, as far as anyone can tell, Shopify doesn't have a customer service department. As far as anybody knows, nobody can fully confirm that anybody actually works at Shopify. And so you can email, but basically until you email a certain email worded in a certain way to a certain department, you don't get a response from pretty much anybody. And come to find out several times. So I paid for it with PayPal. So I went in and I tried to figure out every way to open up a claim or whatever I have to do. And just I couldn't figure it out. I mean, my attention span was just way too short. Again, this is how we get capitalized on. And so today I finally bit the bullet. I was on a fresh dose of my taboo stimulant and finally called the PayPal number. Half-hour wait later, get a call, person on the phone, very sweet gal from PayPal. Gal, I shouldn't say that. Very sweet woman from PayPal. And says, oh, sure, we'll just cancel the payments. Then there's nothing they can do about it. And I said, right, what do we have to do to start that process? And she's like, oh, I just did it. It's done. What? I could have done this a year ago, just called somebody. But here's the thing. And some of you, I've heard you mention this before. It's been mentioned. Many of us, it's not all of us in the ADHD world, but many of us in the ADHD world hate talking on the phone. I have my theory. People think I'm crazy. I have a theory that I always, when I talk on the phone, I talk on speakerphone because I have a theory that something goes haywire in my brain when I have a voice coming into only one ear. And it throws off some kind of pattern, some kind of brainwave pattern in my brain. Maybe this is just me hyper-focusing on something that's not real. Are you kidding me, Joey? Talk about a scam, VidAngel. You heard me. Angel Studios. Come at me, bro. Come at me. Dude, we're going to talk about scams. Don't even get me started about VidAngel, who went public last year, by the way. They got sued off their ass by Disney, and they went public last year. Does nothing in this world make sense anymore? Anyway. So I get aggravated at this kind of thing, and it becomes the kind of thing that I hyper focus on for a day or two, and it's irritating. So that's what our service is about today. No, the VidAngel thing. Don't even get me started about this. So listen, guys, I did create a Linger Longer today. We do want to keep it short here. I did say we would start at 7:30. We are 3 minutes over. So I'm going to close now with Frydanka. There is in the description of this video a link to the Linger Longer, which does also have a link to the StreamYard. Otherwise, it's easy to just get back there. Anyways, I do love your faces. I say amen. I'll see you at Linger Longer, or those of you who are not sticking around with us and doing our lazy thing, I'll see you on Sunday. Yours.
As Berlin burned, they came to raid our hall. Our godless rolls were empty. Max Seaver saved us all. 500,000 godless Germans we. First they came for us, but we were already free. Frydanka, stand against the Reich. Max Seaver's crusader for our right. carry Max within our hearts. In Belgium, he hid away, truth's banner to raise, fighting Hitler with his pen. Max lived to fight again. Freidenker, stand against the Reich. Maximus, crusader for our rights. Freidenker, resistor from the start. We will carry Max within our hearts. America turned him away, a hero lost in the fray.